dun, dun, dun.
And we're live.
And we're
Woo!
live. Okay, I'm waiting for my notification so I can post it to my
I just saw it come through.
Followers.
Oh no, that's last week's. No, I'm seeing the wrong.
Okay, good. Why didn't
I'm seeing the wrong one.
Normally I get it.
I do too. Did I not do it right? I didn't tag us in it.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But
I messed that up
by at Business Brain, right?
Yeah, it got effed up, but whatever.
Okay, that's okay.
Hey, everybody.
All right, here we go. Okay, so
let's see.
I'm gonna this. I'm gonna post it.
Shannon Jean. Let me record this week's BizBrain show. Yeah, there it is. Episodes live.
2 episodes of Business.
Okay, I have done that. Now I will quit the Twitter app because otherwise it's distracting. I did. I reposted it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. I'm gonna go and X. I'm gonna cancel and just post your.
We're in pre-show right now, folks, but
yes.
That is about to change as soon as Shannon tells me
Here's my
it can.
Notifications. There it is. I'm gonna like this one. I'm gonna post it, and there we go.
Great.
All right, I'm back. I'm ready. Let's do it.
I'm ready to. Here we see if I can remember how to do this. I haven't done this since we did it a week ago Monday.
Oh, yeah, a week ago Monday. That's it.
Yeah. All right, here. I should have that up in front of me. Here we go. Business Brain, episode 528 for Wednesday, February 28th. National Time Refund Day 2024. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take an idea or three, we analyze it, we dissect it, we discuss it so that we can each tune our business brains a little bit more every single time we get together. Sponsors for this episode include GoSquaredAway.com/contact. Squared Away empowers highly educated military spouses to become your remote executive assistants. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. For now, here on National Time Refund Day, back in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And I'm Shannon Jean in Lafayette, California. I have no idea what time refund is. That what it is? Time refund day?
I don't know.
Just someday.
It's. I think it's because there's a leap year or whatever. One would think that would be the 29th, but it's listed here as being on the 28th.
It could be tomorrow. Oh, well.
Yeah,
maybe they're getting you ready so you can take advantage of it.
I can take advantage of the time refund. I'm not convinced that I get anything back, but
no,
that's
just another day.
It's just another day.
Another day. So you're back. How was your trip? You were talking about sitting around in the pool, which is unusual for you guys.
It was good. When we travel normally, we don't do like the travel to a beach and sit around all day, right? We're not really like all-inclusive resort types of people.
I
mean, they can be nice. And I just spent 7 days at one. And we had a fantastic time. But we wouldn't schedule 7 days at one, right? That would be too much for us to just have to sit around and I guess if we were going to do it, we would book like excursions or things to do to leave during the day to mix it up. When we go for fish, though, or for a concert, with the concerts at night, that kind of becomes the thing around which we optimize our day.
That's the event.
That's the excursion, if you will. Right. Even though it's right there down the beach. But we know we're going to be standing for, 3 hours watching the show. And it's there's an element of it that's an ordeal. It's an enjoyable ordeal, but it's an ordeal nonetheless.
Yes, of course.
Right. And so we save our energy for the shows. And that means between the time we wake up and the time we head down the beach for, to get a spot in the sand for the show, we have, we maybe eat a meal and then we'll sit in the pool. And it's something we would never do otherwise. But knowing that we have this other thing to do, we kind of give ourselves permission to sit around and do nothing feel like we're not wasting our time. Yeah, exactly. And it really makes it's a nice change for us, just sitting around and kind of doing nothing. Yeah. Somebody asked us, I don't know, a month or two ago, we were somewhere. Somebody said, so are you going to, do the fish thing on the beach in Mexico? And we're like, yeah. And they're like, is that expensive? I'm like, oh yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's gotten more expensive. We've done this 6 times and I think it's double now what it used to be. Yeah, of course.
Everything
is. Yeah, everything is, right.
Yeah.
And Lisa kind of turned to the person and said, listen, what you have to understand is as long as we can afford it, we're going to do it, because it's the only time I ever see Dave turn off and do nothing all day.
That's really valuable, man.
And it is valuable. She's right. Like she's correct on both sides of this. Like it is pretty much the only time I don't do something, and it's good to do this for a change. Not
yeah. You wouldn't do it every time. I agree with you, but sometimes sitting, stopping, floating, reading, all that kind of stuff is really great. We did a whole episode on it. I think if you search for downtime at businessbrain.show, you'll find it. And if your day is going and you're just stacking up task after task after task, and you get it. I mean, like I had a crazy day yesterday, and boy, by the time I walked back down to the house, man, I was done.
Yes.
All I wanted to do was just stop and sit.
Yes.
And it's unusual for me because I'm always like, okay, well, we can eat and then I can go work, get some more stuff done because I love my work. So I can go get some more stuff done. But once in a while, you just got to be able to disconnect. And I think it's great that you were able to do that.
Yeah. And I think that the reversing it and doing the event in the evening, because like if we do travel, we usually go to cities or whatever, and we do stuff during the day. We have a dinner, and then after dinner, we'll go back and chill at the Airbnb or wherever we're staying. Sure. Recharge, go to sleep, wake up, and do whatever crazy thing we have scheduled for the next day. This is a reverse schedule of that. We wake up and we have nothing to do for 6 hours or something.
Yeah.
And nothing. When I say we have nothing to do, it's not that we're looking for something to do. It's that we have scheduled nothing to do. That's nothing as an event. And it's interesting having that reversed, time wise.
I think that's pretty cool. I think
it's good.
Yeah. There's some real value in trying to figure it out and trying to manage because I get behind the 8 ball where I'm just like, okay, I got to pump. I got to get this grind going. But sometimes you just have to get up and walk away because I was working on my website this morning and I have this one thing that won't line up and the field length is something and it just drives me nuts.
It's maddening.
And I finally was like, just leave it. Nothing bad is going to happen while it's sitting there like that. So just walk away, go do something else, go get another cup of coffee, and just reset.
Yes.
It's really important, and I encourage everybody to do it.
All right, Business Brain listeners, you know how juggling your to-do list can sometimes feel like you're trying to balance plates while riding a unicycle, especially when every task demands a PhD in multitasking? Does that even exist? I don't think so. Like coordinating podcast schedules. It's not just picking dates, it's like aligning stars. And let's not forget the black hole of time known as research. Sitting in meetings, wishing you had an extra brain just for note-taking. I mean, who hasn't wished for a clone in those moments? Well, clone no more, my friends. Our sponsor, Squared Away, is here to save the day. With their team of superhero remote executive assistants, all highly educated military spouses, you're not just delegating, you're empowering your business with trust and top-tier talent. And yes, you're also supporting military families, which is pretty awesome. These aren't just any assistants. They're the Navy SEALs of admin support. Whether it's diving deep into research, coordinating travel itineraries that don't make you cringe, or ensuring your meetings are more productive than a brainstorm in a coffee shop, they've got you covered. And the best part, they're as integrated into your team as your morning coffee, offering custom plans to fit any entrepreneurial dream. With Squared Away, it's not just about getting things done. It's about getting them done with a charm that would make even a chaos magician jealous. So don't wait. Contact Squared Away today to find out how they can help your business thrive. Just go to gosquaredaway.com/contact. That's gosquaredaway.com/contact. Let the business magic happen together. And our thanks to Squared Away for sponsoring this episode. So I know we talk a lot, Shannon, about things that have replaced email, text messages, Slack, right? And getting away from email has been a great thing for our internal operations at all of our businesses.
Correct.
However, we still very much use email for external business operations. Yeah. And really, it is the only electronic, universal electronic communication mechanism through which you can actually send meaningful data. I know there's SMS, but that's crap.
Well,
right?
it's still the
different.
King. Yeah, and it's still the king of
email is king. Yes.
You're converting. You want people to connect with you. We talked about cult marketing last week. You want to try to start building that connection. If you've got social media followers, you want to convert them to your email list because that's the only thing you control. Because you're on these social platforms. Doesn't matter how many followers you have. You could lose that. You don't own that.
You don't own it. No.
Yeah. So having a great email strategy is important. And I'd love to just talk about newsletters, what I think makes a great newsletter. I've written them my whole life for every business that we've had. I've done terrible at it in many, many ways.
No, you taught me. You were the first person. Well, let me rewind a little bit. I'll get back there.
Yeah.
When we started the Mac Observer, we decided we needed to not have our personalities involved. This was a huge mistake, by the way. But we were looking at, there's all these like amateur publishers out there. We need to put on a better face than that. So let's be more like the New York Times, right? And right. Yeah. I mean, this is not a terrible model to follow, right? Proven. And let's just, we can offer analysis and observations and all of those things and news, but let's leave us out of it. And then I saw your newsletters with Mac Rescue. I think it was
Mac Rescue.
Yeah. And this was, I forget, you called it Shannon something. Ira Feigelman at Outpost did the same thing with Ira's Picks or Ira's Weekly thing. And I was like, wait a minute. I know that, like, I knew you were the owner of Mac Rescue, or at least one of them, but Ira was an employee over there at Outpost. I'm like, wait a minute, there's more to this, and that really was what caused us to rethink things at Mac Observer and allow our personalities to shine through, which was absolutely the right move. Yeah. So I think You've always had a sense for the right way to do a newsletter.
Well, I enjoy writing. I'm better at it now because I have AI grammar checkers helping me along the way. That always held me back. So if you're, we're going to talk about writing here. If you're not comfortable writing, or you're worried maybe one of your people writing something, get Grammarly as a writing companion.
Yeah.
And there's another one called Hemingway I'm hearing good things about, but I think there's different ways to do it, and I believe your comment about personality is, I think, spot on. But you also need to recognize there are certain people that won't like it in your a percentage of people in your subscribers or whoever you do won't like it. So you have to give them a way around it. And the way around it is to build the newsletter structure to where in the beginning, the first thing they should see, especially if you have a lot of text, if you're just sending out pictures, which I don't think is a good thing to do either, product pictures and that kind of stuff, and buy me, that you don't need this. But if you're going to try to connect with your customers on a deeper level, you need to give them what do you call it? The TLDR.
Oh, yeah.
And you just do that in the beginning. You just have some bullet points. Here's what we're going to talk about today. And the first thing, because I would write it, and I called it my monologue. I just wrote a monologue, something I was talking about that may or may not, more likely may not have been related to anything we were going to, technical tips or product sales. It was just you remember Dawn from Small Dog
From Small Dog.
Electronics.
I knew who you were talking about before you said the company name.
Yeah.
And it's because she did the same kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
he did. He had this thing
Dawn,
called the
Dawn did.
Yeah.
Dawn also took it over though.
Yeah,
Dawn
yeah. She did.
DeAngelis
That's
after
right.
the
That's
fact.
right.
So, yep.
And Dawn had his thing. He called it his soapbox. So,
Yes.
And you knew. Now he went a different direction. I didn't think it was the best way, the political thing, but at least he said, "Hey, I'm on my soapbox now." And at the end, he would say, "I'm a stop soapbox, and now I go on to these other things."
Yep.
But letting your people know up in the beginning, it's like, okay, here are the 5 things we're going to discuss today: Shannon's monologue, this technical tip, this product solution, and these are the items on sale, whatever. Because they can look at it and go, I'm not interested in any of that. Delete.
Correct.
You value their time. You're not like, you got to read through everything. People aren't going to read it.
No.
They're gonna look it over and scan it, and they're gonna look for things that catch your eye. And I would say, especially in this day and age, short chunks of text are very important.
Two, maybe 3 sentences per paragraph.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
Yeah, and then maybe an image or a graphic or something and what you're doing with those sentences. Every sentences you're trying to buy the next line. You're trying to buy their attention to go to the next sentence. That's the way you should think about it. It's why should they read it? Okay, you can tell your story in the monologue, and I just kind of had a rambling thing. We tell stuff about what was going on with my family or whatever. And I got tons of great positive feedback, but I got also a lot of people are like, this is a waste of my time. That's when I added the bullet points, and we hyperlinked it so they could just skip past my monologue if they wanted and go down the page to the product specials or whatever they want. So you have one newsletter, but you're chunking it up to try to get it in a format that attracts most people or is useful to most people.
Yep.
And so each of those sentences that you're typing should really serve a purpose after your monologue where you can mess around. But if that sentence doesn't do anything, get rid of it. If it's a technical tip, quick and to the point, and here's a link or resource or whatever it is, and then on. It's the same reason we cut this show in half.
Yeah.
Because we know people are busy. We want to, if we could get 15, 20 minutes of your time, that's a success.
That's amazing.
But getting an hour of your time, we're not Joe Rogan and that kind of thing.
We never tried to be either.
No.
Like that's the thing. Yeah.
So I love, breaking it up. I think, as you know, I'm a huge fan of stories. I love stories. And when I say that, outside of your monologue, you could tell a story about the product, or maybe the story is a comment you got from a customer, how a product changed their life or saved their data if you're a data, but something that connects other than this thing's on sale, because everything is on sale.
Oh, well, understanding that your customers may not agree that there's a difference between for sale and on sale.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
Right? Yeah, especially if all you're ever doing is telling people, hey, there's a discount. There's a discount. There's a discount. It's you're training them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I always try to sell value. I constantly tell people and clients that I work with, raise your prices. You need the whistle, the workhorse, and the whale. And if you don't know what that is, go up to businessbrain.show and search for that term.
You don't even have to. We'll put a link in the show notes. Yeah.
We did a great show about that. Those 3 product types. So,
and speaking of the show notes, and very timely here, given the subject of this, go to businessbrain.show and sign up for our newsletter. The one thing that you will get consistently from us are the show notes to every episode, which include all the links to the things that we've talked about. So you don't have to go search. You don't even have to remember to go search, because that in your inbox is a copy of the show notes. You can just click it right there.
Yeah, so if
So-
you're in the car, like
Yeah.
or on my
Yeah.
phone listening, I'm not gonna
Treadmill, whatever. Yeah.
whatever you do. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so I like using story as much as I can. You can't be this long rambling thing about every product, but it could be just a couple of sentences about, thing.
Yeah.
And I like, if there is a longer story, put a link there and push them to a blog post, right? And so the people that want that additional story about how this product does X, and we can give you 5 different ways it does Y. Start them off, get with the hook, and go. But the hook is important. You want to get their attention. The other thing is, I think you got to use humor to get people's attention too.
You have to use your personality, whatever that is. Yeah. Humor works very well.
It does. If you're humorous.
If you are good at that. Right. And
so how do you get better at being humorous? Do you use AI? Well, is ChatGPT funny?
Yeah, it can be. If you listen to, you get to decide. I tell ChatGPT to make the scripts that it creates for the ad reads funny. You may or may not agree. I kind of like the bizarre humor that it comes up with. It's different. It keeps it interesting. And that's really what it is keep it interesting. Humor can do that.
I love it.
But there's other mechanisms, right? But you're right. I think ChatGPT or some AI, LLM that can, and tell it, make it funny. Those are the 3 words that I use in my instructions for the ad scripts that I do is, do this, make it this length, make it funny. And then here's the talking points. Yeah,
so
why not?
Humor is, just humor stories, whatever, little tidbits. If you made a mistake,
tell people that.
It's great. Tell them how you screwed up. And if you whatever, I think it's very important. And maybe you're not the funniest person, but somebody could be, or I don't know, like say, use the AI
or use whatever, try and write how you talk. Yeah. That's really the key. And if you can't, if you aren't yet skilled in writing how you talk, dictate it.
Yeah.
And then edit what you've dictated and go from there.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. One tip I'll give you that
we only got one left. Last one.
That's it. It's really quick and it's tiny. Is choose an emoji related to your company or newsletter, and that should be in your every single subject line.
Oh.
The guy from the Naptown Scoop, Ryan, I forget his last name. Yeah. His is a little ice cream cone. And I have a nonprofit I work with, and I started adding a little American flag because it's kind of a patriotic group and everything. So every newsletter goes out, they see that American flag and they identify, I know who that's from.
Oh, brilliant. Right?
And so you get that in. So share your tips. I would love to help educate us, and we can create these tips together. Feedback at businessbrain.show. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Feedback at businessbrain.show. Make sure to check out gosquaredaway.com/contact. That's where you're going to learn about our sponsor, Squared Away. And go sign up for our newsletter, businessbrain.show. You'll get a form right there. Keep living that charmed life. We'll see you on Friday. And we're out.
Great. We have one streamer. I'm sure that's my wife. No, that's on X. It's on X.
There you go.
She wouldn't be up there.
All right, between the episodes. There we go.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, great. So you're going to get that ready. We're going to talk about birdie.so as the intro, and then we're going to talk about imitation. That's perfect. And I got to post this right when we're done today.
Okay, great.
Because this one is due out today. Perfect. Check this. All right.
Okay, go. Oh, yeah. The chapters. I do need to capture the chapters. Otherwise, I'm not.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm not doing the thing that I told people I would do. It's weird for me to go 8 days without publishing a podcast.
When I had to put together the audio a couple of shows ago, I was all, launch Hindenburg. And then I moved this, and how do I put chapter mark? Yeah,
right,
it took me a while because I hadn't done that in like a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe a year and a half. So
it's amazing how quickly things just kind of go away.
Yeah, it is amazing.
There, that's that. Yeah, the more automatic it becomes. Are you actually uploading? Okay, good. The harder it is to like come back to it after a period of time. It's like because you don't think about it. You just trust yourself. Like, oh, I know how to do this. I do it all the time. And then it's like, well, but I did notice like with Mac Geek Gab, I got to a point, and it was the boiling the frog, like it happened very very slowly.
Yeah.
But we kept adding things, and this show is almost there. We kept adding things, and finally I realized I was missing steps. Like I was not, and I had to create a pre-flight and post-flight checklist because even though I'm doing it every week, it got to a point where it was like, oh yeah, I'm no longer remembering.
I often think like that when I'm creating, finishing the post on the website. I'm always like, okay, this, this. And 99% of the time, it's, oh yeah, no problem. But it's that, oh, I'm on the road.
Yes.
I'm in another place. I got to do it so fast. And you're like, how do I make it? I got to forget it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay. I think I'm done there. Did that finish? That did. Okay.
Terrific.
Great. I just need to move a couple of things around so that I don't get lost while we're recording. I have a little visual help. Great. Okay. I am ready to do Friday's episode. Okay, here we go. Business Brain, episode 529 for Casual Friday, March 1st, National Day of Unplugging 2024. Folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas, we dissect them, we analyze them, we use them to tune our business brains each and every time we get together. Sponsors for this episode include GoSquaredAway.com/contact, which empowers highly educated military spouses to become your trusted remote executive assistants. We will talk more about that in a little bit. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And I'm Shannon Jean. I'm still out here in Lafayette. How you doing, man?
I'm good. National Day of Unplugging happening on a Casual Friday reminds me to ask you, are you still doing No Phone Fridays?
Absolutely not.
Oh, well.
I love the idea.
Yes.
But I have a lot going on right now. I'm trying to build a new business. I'm in this volunteer thing. I don't know how I would do it. I just don't know. I mean, when I'm gone, but I'm still, checking my phone all the time. It's a great theory, and I love the way it sounds. No Phone Friday.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see if I'm ever able to pull it off. But I am, I mentioned I'm working. I've been talking about it here for a while. I'm growing my account on X, Twitter, trying to build something out there to see how that works because I don't know anything about it and didn't know much about it. So I wanted to mention a tool that I'm using.
Okay.
It's called Birdy, BIRDY.SO, which we'll put in the show notes.
Yeah.
And this service, there's some free parts and some paid parts. I use the free thing where it is doing A/B testing with my bio. So if you notice the bio, you get 160 characters underneath your name to describe something or other, whatever you want, what you're trying to tell people. And so what Birdy does is allow you to set up an A version and a B version. It rotates them back and forth and keeps track of how many followers you get based on which version of the bio is active.
Now, who creates the bio? Do you create it?
Yeah.
Or does it, like AI, assist you in creating your bio?
I didn't see that up there.
Okay.
But no, I created, I keep playing with it. I was questioning because, I finally got over 1,000 followers. I've been grinding it out and just really trying to drill down and analytically think what works, what doesn't, how am I doing this and all this stuff. But this is a great little app, and I don't use anything but the bio. If you change your It'll do everything. It'll change your name. It'll change an image, a photo. But any of those changes, you lose your blue check for a few days while they verify you again.
Sure.
So that's a different animal. But your bio, your background image, and if you're a premium plus member, you get an extended bio that you can go down and on X. But this for $10 a month, it's kind of an interesting thing. Somebody recommended it to me that has like 70,000 followers. So they're doing something right. And I've been playing around with learning new tools as I educate myself. I often say I really enjoy starting over at zero again.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate to be able to do it a bunch of times in my life. Sometimes I never get beyond zero. That happens, right?
You use the word fortunate, and I'm not going to take that away from you. That's your description of your life, and I wouldn't disagree with it either. But you are also willing to start at zero.
Oh, yeah, that's fun. It's part of the fun.
Well, for you,
for me,
you've learned,
yes,
that it breaks. Starting at zero breaks most people out of their comfort zone.
Oh, me too.
Right.
Me too.
Of course.
I started the fashion business, and I don't know. Look at me. I don't know anything about fashion.
Same.
I'm totally out of my comfort. I don't know anything about X and Twitter and getting followers.
You are willing to be I always say, there's a phrase in meditation circles in Buddhism called beginner's mind. And I'm not Buddhist, but I like this phrase. And it means exactly what it sounds like. And you can go very deep into this phrase. But the idea of beginner's mind, you are willing to embrace that. You enjoy you've learned to enjoy embracing that.
Yeah. And I've, it changes when you have to, how do I say this? At different levels of your career, your financial life, it allows you, if I was still just having to grind every single day to pay the electric bill, maybe I couldn't, sound so sophisticated I got to start again at zero. I am self-aware of being in a great, position to be able to try this, but I've done it a bunch of times even before. But anyway, part of getting off of zero is finding tools and educating yourself.
Well, that's it.
And this
you're willing to say, I don't know,
I don't know,
and use an app. That's huge. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, good stuff.
Good. I'm having a great time, having the time of my life. If you'd like to hear, see what I'm doing up there at Shannon Jean, come up and follow me and play along as I figure it out.
All right, Business Brain listeners, you know how juggling your to-do list can sometimes feel like you're trying to balance plates while riding a unicycle, especially when every task demands a PhD in multitasking? Does that even exist? I don't think so. Like coordinating podcast schedules. It's not just picking dates, it's like aligning stars. And let's not forget the black hole of time known as research. Sitting in meetings, wishing you had an extra brain just for note-taking. I mean, who hasn't wished for a clone in those moments? Well, clone no more, my friends. Our sponsor, Squared Away, is here to save the day. With their team of superhero remote executive assistants, all highly educated military spouses, you're not just delegating, you're empowering your business with trust and top-tier talent. And yes, you're also supporting military families, which is pretty awesome. These aren't just any assistants. They're the Navy SEALs of admin support, whether it's diving deep into research, coordinating travel itineraries that don't make you cringe, or ensuring your meetings are more productive than a brainstorm in a coffee shop. They've got you covered. And the best part, they're as integrated into your team as your morning coffee, offering custom plans to fit any entrepreneurial dream. With Squared Away, it's not just about getting things done. It's about getting them done with a charm that would make even a chaos magician jealous. So don't wait. Contact Squared Away today to find out how they can help your business thrive. Just go to gosquaredaway.com/contact. That's gosquaredaway.com/contact. Let the business magic happen together. And our thanks to Squared Away for sponsoring this episode. So one thing that comes with starting over, Shannon, is that you're starting over and that you have to figure out what to do when
Yep.
you do this thing that you're going to do. And I was having a conversation with somebody actually on the beach. He was starting a business and he's like, yeah, it's kind of the same as this other thing. So I'm not sure if that's good. And I'm like, oh man, like, don't look for a unique idea. And I gave him my ideas, or if you want an idea to be worth $100, write it on a $100 bill. Like, ideas aren't worth anything. It's all about execution.
True.
And your execution is going to be different than someone else's, even if you are using the same idea. And if it's not going to be different than someone else's, if you're looking at somebody else and saying, well, they did it perfectly and exactly the way I would do it, that might be the thing where you would say, I got to find a differentiator. I got to find where I can put me into this. But imitating people, I think, is a good thing, right?
I agree. Remember when we had Greg Mercer from Jungle Scout on the
do.
show?
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I reached out to him is because I was super impressed that his business analyzes Amazon sales and gives you a ton of data. And his thing was, okay, let's show how it works and that it does work. I'm going to find a product on Amazon, look at what they're doing, imitate what they're doing, but change it a little bit. I don't know anything about this. And I mean, talk about a crazy product. He picked bamboo skewers, giant big bamboo skewers for like marshmallows around the campfire, that kind of thing. So and I'm sure this is still up at junglescout.com. He did a whole series of videos of looking at it going, okay, what can I learn from this? And he imitated, but then he improved upon it and he made it different. He said, okay, let's do a bundle and let's include this and let's do this. And he tried something. So, as a phrase I've heard, imitation before implementation or, those kinds of things where I think that's where it always starts, right? I mean,
I guess. I mean, I think we could find exceptions to this, right? Where people do something completely out of whole cloth that in their mind, at least not consciously, perhaps subconsciously, but not consciously.
Even like the iPhone.
Oh,
the greatest product ever, so to speak, right? Sold
Apple
more
hasn't created other than. And even this, I would argue, other than the first product, right? The Apple computer, right? The Apple II. That was the first all-in-one bundled personal computer. Yes. But it was created that way because they had seen the kit-based personal computers and said, we could do this better. So even, I know they get credit for like being the first personal computer. I don't think that's true.
And the Mac OS, I mean, they borrowed that from Xerox and all this kind. So over and over,
everything is an iteration from Apple on other people's things and also on their own things. But they weren't the first with a smartphone. They weren't the first with a graphical interface. They weren't the first with a smart watch. They weren't the first with a smart tablet.
Yeah,
they weren't, headset. Like none of it. Yep.
That should never stop you.
No,
and that's how my background before I got into tech was I owned a construction business, a landscape construction business.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get into tech and I was like, how do I do this? And nobody would hire me. I had no skills. I was just young and just all I had was a big mouth. But I finally got this guy to listen to me. He wouldn't hire me. I don't have the money to hire you. And I just volunteered. And I said, okay, let me just come to your office and sit there and I'll help. I'll answer the phone. I'll take out the trash, whatever it is. Let me volunteer.
Yep.
He said, okay, no problem. So me and a buddy, we volunteered. I convinced this guy, Chris, to come with me. And I kind of focused on sales. He focused on the back tech, engineering stuff. And I just observed and I watched this guy in his business. And I said, I can do this. Not only can I do this, I can do it better. And I didn't do it there. I moved because that was a college town. And in the beginning, I thought his model, which was kind of a home, local repair, sales kind of business, that was my model. I was like, I'm going to do this. Quickly, as we rode the wave of the internet, it all blew up. And I realized limiting myself to that model would have been a mistake.
Would have been a mistake, yeah.
Yeah. But I just imitated him at the beginning because I didn't know what to do. So like if you want to be in the printing business, go, find somebody in that business. If you want to be an influencer, reach out to an influencer, and people, they would like to help. If if you want to be, I know some very successful people in the finance business, in the insurance business, and I'm constantly hearing them talk. Oh, so-and-so asked to take me to lunch, wanted to talk to me how I did this, how I did that. All of us like to tell our story. So reach out and imitate.
Ask people to tell their story and then imitate. Yes.
And imitate what they're doing.
I said something to you on this show, episode 326, almost 3 years ago, May of 21. I said, being an entrepreneur is a blue collar job. And I think this whole episode epitomizes that. Being willing to learn something new, being willing to admit that you have something to learn, being willing to put the work in to learning, being willing to put the work into creating your business, doing whatever it is that needs to be done for your business, not feeling like you're above this just because you're the owner.
Yep.
Let me tell you, that ain't how it works.
That is not how it works.
If you have that mindset, either get rid of it or go get a job working for somebody else where you don't have to do the things that you feel are below you.
Yeah,
pick one of those two.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Option number one is more fun. But if you think you can do option number one without cleaning a toilet every now and then, it ain't how it works.
And it's also a big part of, this isn't a show about leadership, but it's also being of service, that kind of leadership. When you're of service to your people, they connect with you better. They believe in you. They believe in your cause. We did a show about what's your noble cause, which I love, and it helps motivate your people. It adds tons of credibility to you. And it just like, we did this show on the news, building a newsletter and connecting with your clients. Being of service to your team and your employees connects you to them on an entirely different level. That's why
be of service to your customers too.
Yes, both.
All of them. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I always harp on this concept of you should be barbecuing out cooking for your team. I know it sounds, whatever, cheesy or whatever, but it totally works. And you get to sneak a meeting in while you're cooking and you're talking and you're getting to know them, and Joe's having a kid and so-and-so wants to buy a new car, and that goes in your database. You're like, I gotta help, figure this out for this guy. And this is an opportunity. And, he's not leaving anytime soon because he's having a baby, and then this and this.
Yep.
And so you pick up all these nuances about your people,
your team. Yeah.
And being of service is how you build loyalty over decades. And
I agree.
Hopefully you can do that. So yeah. But imitation, man, figure it out. And I'd love to hear how you've done it. Help us spread the word. So somebody who's sitting out there right now going, I can't start this because so-and-so already does it in my town or whatever.
No,
let's help.
If you see that you could, my favorite moments are when I am encountering a business. I might be a customer of theirs, whatever, experiencing a business somehow. And I say, man, they're doing it wrong. I wish they would do this and this and this differently. Yeah. And those are the moments I've learned to notice and be like, wait a minute. Do I want to get into this business? Because I already have my business plan. It's everything they've done, plus or minus the things that I just articulated that I feel are wrong with this. Because if I feel they're wrong with it, I've learned there are other people that feel the same way as me.
And I always follow it up with, Lord, grant me the strength to not start another business.
Good luck with that, my friend.
I know. Yeah, it's great. I'd love to hear your tips on this and how you got started and who you imitated. Or if you think we're wrong, if you think you got to be unique, come on, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Feedback at businessbrain.show.
Absolutely. Like he said, feedback at businessbrain.show. Make sure you go to businessbrain.show, sign up for our newsletter, and go check out our sponsor, gosquaredaway.com/contact. Keep living that charmed life. We'll see you next week. And we're out.
Terrific. All right. For our one streamer, I'm going to end it right now. Thanks for your support, man. We couldn't do it without you.
Couldn't have done it without you.
I love it. Yeah. Take care.